Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome back to Inventory Management Portal. This is Ali Raza and today I am going to tell you how can we insert, update, delete and retrieve the user's details inside our inventory project. So let's start and have a look what we have today. So let's first quickly dive into the MySQL PHP MyAdmin, and you see here I have a users table and these are the columns that I wanted to utilize when I wanted to store the data. Okay, so this is the primary key and this is the foreign key. Okay, so relationship is also there, exist in this table. So let's go in the Dreamweaver and create a new page, and let's first quickly create the design. Right, save this page first of all with the name users CRUD, and the working directory should be inventory portal, that is our project directory, and save this. Here let's write users CRUD or user management. Okay, that's my title. Then come inside and create a div along with some bootstrap. So let's add bootstrap, link, relationship, style sheet, href, and browse and select your styles, bootstrap men. Save it. Come inside this div, class equals to container, and then another div, class equals to call size. Let's pick up 6, offset 3. I hope now you already know what are these things. And then I'm creating a form and form tag close, action blank, method post. Then come inside and create another div, div close, class equals to form dash group. Come inside and create a label, and let me write label, close label here, and give here the name of the user, input type equals to text, name equals to name txt, class equals to form dash control. Alright, and close this. So this is how I have done my some basic structure of the page. Let's add the heading also. So here h1 close, class equals to text center, and right here user management, and save. Then a horizontal line, let us add it, HR or horizontal rule you can say. Now copy this and paste it below. Instead of name we have here email, and the text should be converted to email as a type, and the name should also be email. And then we have phone number, it should be text, and the name is phone txt. And now let's go and see. You see here sequentially I am going in a correct manner. So now I wanted to pass the role, okay, but I don't have the role. Okay, I wanted to get that role from the database. Okay, for that purpose let's go to the stored procedures, and you see here I have created a procedure with the name st_get roles. If you don't have this, let me show you this stored procedure. This is the stored procedure. It is only retrieving the role ID and the role name from the roles table, nothing else. There are no parameters also. Okay, so I wanted to use this st_get roles. For that purpose let's come here and create a new file of PHP HTML5 and create. Alright, so first save this file with the name role retrieve, or we can write here get roles, a simple name. Okay, get roles.php. Now instead of anything else, we directly write here php and include our connection file. So my connection file is inside the connection.php page. So let's add it, connection.php, and save. You see now the get roles file has this connection, okay, inside this, and if you navigate to this file, we have our database connection. Simple. Now the next step is to create a function get, or we can create a function retrieve. Let's write here get roles. The function name is also get roles, and come inside. Now let us verify whether connection is coming inside this. You can see the IntelliSense is not working. Okay, for that purpose let us write here global keyword to make the connection global $con. Now after this, let's verify whether we are connected or not when we call this function. So con, and right here echo yes, else no. Okay, so we have to be very careful with when we are doing something like that. So this is my function get roles. So what if I call this function get roles inside this script also? So save it. Now let's directly run this get roles. What we get, you see the yes is the indicator that my connection is successful. I hope it is clear. Okay, so get roles I am removing from here. I don't want to call it here right now, so let's remove this line and write our code. So $query is equals to call st_get roles. That was my stored procedure. Let me show you again. st_get roles, and I have passed it here, call the stored procedure. That's it. And then we have to give it to a result variable. So $result equals to, and let's execute this query, mysqli_query, and now it asks me for the connection. So my connection is inside con and my query is inside query, semicolon. Now what I wanted to do, I wanted to check whether there are results or not. So if mysqli_num_rows, and you see it asks for the result, so I have passed my result is greater than 0. That means that if there are rows available inside the table, there are rows available and the records are greater than 0, then come inside, and then apply a while loop and specify here let's add one thing, that is $raw equals to mysqli_fetch_raw, and now here you have to pass your result again. So what will happen with this function? One by one raw will be picked up and stored inside raw, and then we'll access that. Now here let's apply an echo tag and give here select class equals to form-control and name equals to role drop down. Okay, before the while loop I have done that. Now echo, close the select tag. Now come inside and give here echo and option close. Here inside the value I have to specify $raw, that is my complete row, and within that row I wanted to access the ID column. Okay, at 0 index we have ID. Let me show you that again. If you see this, I have two columns, so first is the ID and the second is the name. Okay, so at 0 we have ID, at 1 we have name. Okay, so what I have done, I have simply passed the ID as the value of the option, and the display thing is row of 1. Simple. Okay, so when this loop will execute, ultimately a drop down list will be created with the name and this bootstrap, and then the options will be added from the database, and then the select will be closed. I hope it is clear. And then after that, when the things will finish, what we have to do, we have to mysqli underscore close, and then we have to pass our connection, so that the connection will not remain open when this thing will happen. So that's what I have done up till now. I have created the get roles function. Now my file name is also get roles. So let's go back to the users CRUD and add that file within this program. So can I write something like that, include, and here I can write get roles.php. That's my file name, don't get confused. Okay, the function name and the file name both are same. That's my mistake, but I hope you get it. So get roles.php I have added here. Now let's close this file from here, and you see we have the same thing coming inside the users CRUD. Now we have to call this function get roles. Where I have to call this function? I have to call this function inside this div. Let's copy this div and paste, and instead of this, let me write here role, and here I will call my PHP, and here I can write get roles. That's my function that I have to call. So let's check what's the output of this. So you see it is saying that it is undefined. Alright, let's cut this line here and add it here. Okay, and now let's check what's the output. Remove these PHP markers, save, come here and refresh. You see now? Oh, that was a little mistake, I have corrected it. Okay, so where you are including, you have to call that get rows function where you have included your page, otherwise it will not get the reference. So you see now my roles are coming. Okay, one more thing that you can add here inside the get roles is to add a default option. So let me copy this echo and paste here, and the default value is -1, and the display thing should be select role, and by default it is selected. Okay, save. Now let's go back and refresh. You see now. Okay, so select role, and then when I select admin, the ID of the admin is at the back end. When I select role, that means that this is the -1 value. Okay, so now the roles are successfully here, and now the next two things that I have to pass here is the username and the password. So let's copy and paste and paste. So that's my username, and the text name should be username txt. This should be my password, and input type equal to password. Okay, you can apply validations also, required and read only or whatever, the patrons, something like that. This is up to you. Now let's refresh. Okay, username spelling is incorrect, and the button is also missing. So let's paste again this and remove the label. Input type equals to submit, and the name of the button should be save button, and the class is btn -btn active, btn info, sorry, and the column size should be 4 and offset should be 2. That means 2 columns should be skipped from the beginning. Now one more thing I have to add here is value equals to, and the name of the button should be save, Let's copy this button and paste this button here. Remove this offset because I don't want to skip the second button. This button should be view btn and the coding name should be view btn, and the rest of the things remains the same. Let's arrange, save it, and now let's go back and refresh. You see now I have two buttons, save and view. So when I open this page, the data should be displayed, or the users table should be displayed, okay, in a perfect manner. So let's go and retrieve the data from the users table, and then we'll insert also. Alright guys, so for retrieval of the users, we have to create a function here again, function, and but I think I should create a separate script for that, retrieve users. But let's write here, let's and see what will be the result. So function retrieve, and let's include the connection here, include the connection.php file, and come inside, apply the global keyword and $con, and do the same step whether the connection is coming or not. Else echo and write here yes, and echo write here no. The reason of doing these things, because we have to make sure that everything is working in a perfect manner. So this is the retrieve function, and let's call it directly here, retrieve. So when the page loads, it should display yes. Let's see what's the output. You can see it is showing me yes. Okay, now that means my connection is successful, so I don't want to do anything else. So the next step is I have to write my query here. Query equals to, I wanted to get the roles and the users data together. For that purpose, let's go inside the localhost, and you see here users stored procedure, and you see here I have created a procedure with the name get users. Let me show you that stored procedure. So user ID, name, email, phone, username, password, role ID, role name. So these are the things, and I have applied the join as well. So let me zoom in. Now you can see it. Perfect view. Okay. So get users is my stored procedure, and there are no parameters. Simple. This is the stored procedure, st_get users. Copy this and open it again for reference. Let's write here call st_get users and semicolon. It's optional. If you wish to add, then it's your choice. Now after that, what I have to do, I have to execute this query. Simple. So result equals to, and mysqli underscore query, and here I have to pass my connection dollar and then my query. So the query will execute if the results are there. If dollar result, you can directly test this, okay, and you can directly apply the while loop if you want, if you know. But for safe side, mysqli underscore num underscore rows, and come inside and give your result. Okay, if the results are there, that means the rows are greater than 0. Else you can simply echo no records are available. No records are available. Simple. One thing. The next thing is come inside the while loop, and the next thing is $raw equals to mysqli underscore fetch underscore raw, and here you have to pass your result, and then come inside, and what I have to do, I have to create a table this time. Okay, so where should the table tag come? Here. So echo, and first of all let's add a form tag, form and action equals to blank, method equals to post, and then close this form tag echo and form close. Now let's add table tag echo, and then we have the table class equals to table and table active bordered, whatever you can write, these are the classes. And then let's add table heading, so echo table heading and echo t head close, and then inside this t head we have to call our headings. So the first th is the id. Let me write here id. Let's copy this. Then we have name, then we have email, then we have phone, then we have role, then we have username, then we have password. Okay, now respectively give the headings. After id we have name, then we have email, then we have phone, then we have role, then we have username, and the last thing is the password. Okay, now the next step is to show the respective details here. So echo inside double quotation marks, let's add a table raw, copy this line and paste it, close this raw, and now inside this row let's add the first record that should be in table data, td close. Let's copy, or let's write raw of 0. So what's in the first column? What's it is in the first column? So you see here user id, okay, at 0 index. At first index we have name, so let's copy this, copy and paste. So at first index we have name, and you see in the heading I have specified the name, and then I wanted to pass the email, so email is a 012 on the second column. Okay, and then let's paste again. After email we have to pass the phone number, so it's on the third position. So respectively you have to map the things. Okay, now paste it again. After phone I have to pass the role, so you see role I have passed in the last. Okay, so 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. So role name is at the 7th place. So what I have to do, I have to write here 7 instead of 4. Okay, so you have to make sure this thing. One more thing that you have to pass here is you have to add here a hidden field as also, okay, let's skip the hidden field. Let's first show the role name only, then we'll see what we have to do. Okay, the next step is to paste again. After the role name we have to pass the username. So username is at 0 1 2 3 4, fourth position. So let's write here 4 and then paste again, and at 5th position we have the password. You see here after this I haven't get the role ID, but if you wish to take the role ID you can take the role ID and you can hide that. It's your choice. Okay, for future references. Okay, and one thing I think I should take the role ID. So the role ID is at the 6th place. So let's close this, come here and specify another TD, but that the thing I don't want to display that. Okay, I think I should skip the role ID at this point and we'll see that later on, but right now let's check and call this retrieve function on the runtime. So you see the retrieve function is already called here, let us check what's the output of this. So the data is coming, but the table is widespread. I wanted to put this within the div, so let's call that div this function. Let's try to call this function here. Okay, so div class equals to form dash group and div close. Let's add PHP and call this function, that is retrieve. Remove this from here and paste it here. Now let's check what's the output. You see it is not getting the data. Okay, let's call the connection also, copy and paste and save. Let's check now. You see now the data is coming. So connection is very important to place. Now the next step is I have to put this table, I have to add the buttons, the edit, update, delete buttons, okay, so that we can be able to edit these records, and I also have to align this table. Okay, let's remove this form group and simply add call 6. Let's see what's the output. I'm not going to specify any offset here and check the table. So you see the table is not coming in center, so let's write here call. Yes, one thing that I skipped is the call size should be 12 within this form group. Now let's go back and refresh the page. Nothing happened. Okay, so let's alright, let us cut this division and paste it after this division. That is my main division, that is my container division basically. Okay, so inside this I have pasted this div. I hope it is clear. Now let's remove this and check what's the output. Come here and refresh. Now you see it's coming in a good way. Okay, it's in the center of the page, and let's reduce the page size. You can see the usability is better than before. Now the other thing is I have to specify the buttons. Let's add the buttons inside the retrieve function. Come and write here td close, and here I can specify input type equals to submit, value equals to edit btn, and name equals to, sorry, this should be name, and value equals to, you can add gilf icons also, edit and close. So that's one button. Add a class equals to btn, then btn dash what should be the type, info, btn info, and that's it. So let's copy this td and paste it again, but with update button, and value should be update, and the next button should be delete. So paste and right here delete btn, the value is delete, and save. Let's go and check what's the output. So now I have these buttons. Okay, And but one thing that I should do here is, instead of putting these things into separate TD, let's put them together. Okay, so I have given some space here. Now save, let's check. Okay, now everything is coming in one column, and you have to add here a heading as well. So go at the end and th close and write here actions. Save, come here and refresh. Now you see the table is fine. Now we have to replace the ID with the radio buttons. Let's do that. So the ID is this at row 0. So instead of ID I am removing the heading, and this row should be input type equals to radio, value equals to this value, and the name of this radio button is ID RB that we have done inside the roles CRUD also, and save. Okay, now let's check what's the output. Now I have radio buttons, each selecting at a time. The next step is, when I click the edit button, it should check whether the radio button is checked or not. Okay, so let's come here and open some PHP markers. Not at this place. Yes, at this place it is fine, because that's one thing, that's one PHP script. Let's add another so that we can do some partitions. So PHP and PHP close, and you can write here if is set, and the button name is $_post. Let's write here edit btn, and then if is set $_post ID RB, that is my radio button. Okay, if this radio button is set, then come inside and display the value just for checking purposes. Come here and paste, and then start the program. Let's see what's the output. Okay, so when I click on the edit button, you see nothing is coming. When I click Bilal and then edit, you see 2 is coming. When I click Farooq and then edit, you see 3 is coming. Okay, so respectively the ID is coming. Now what I'll do, I'll put this ID into a session. Okay, so instead of displaying this ID, let's create a session. So session_start, and $_session of, and right here user ID, that's my session name, and then we have to pass this session ID, this user ID into this session. So when somebody tries to click the ID, it will be stored inside session, and then if the ID is not set, then we have to display the message that should be inside echo and p tag class equals to alert danger, and let's close this p tag and write here please select any user first, save and semicolon, and check what's the output. So you see now when I click the edit button, it is showing me please select any user first. When I click here and edit, you see nothing is happening because now we have created the session. Now after getting the ID, we have to convert these text this data into text boxes, okay, and this role into the drop down list, okay, select list. So let's try to do this. I have created this function retrieve. Let's create another function retrieve for edit, and come inside and do the same thing here, global connection, and copy this same line of code that we have done inside this. Okay, let me check what is this this is the if. Okay, let's copy this whole code and paste it here. Same code but for retrieve for edit. Okay, here I'll change something, that is if $_session is user ID, okay, and is equals to $raw of 0. That means when the session ID will match to the raw ID, then I'll try to convert that data into text boxes. So let's copy and paste, else cut this code and paste. So when the ID matches, and I know we have selected one ID at a time, then only one raw will be converted to text boxes, and the rest of the rows will not be converted to the text boxes, and they will display the same. Okay, now the next step is to make this radio button checked already, because the ID matched, checked, and here we should write input type equals to text and value equals to this one, name equals to name txt, and close. That's the first text box conversion. Okay, similarly class equals to form dash control. Now for this raw 2, here I'll copy this input type equal to text, copy this code, and instead of raw 2 I'll replace this, and we have to be very sure that what we are doing. So where I have replaced here. Okay, so instead of raw 1 I have to write here raw 2, and it should be email txt, and then for raw 3 I'll again copy and paste, and it should be raw 3, and here I'll write email txt, and then for raw 7, now in 7 we have the role name. Here we have to call that same function for loading the drop down list. Okay, so instead of raw 7, what I can do, I remove this and I'll call the function, but you see I am already inside echo and I wanted to call the PHP function. So double quotes open, double quotes close, concatenation. Now I can write my PHP here. So my get roles function is this, get roles, that's it. So what will happen, inside this td I'll get the drop down list again. Okay, and then the fourth, this at this step let's paste and change it to raw 4, that should be my username txt, and then the last is the raw 5, that is the password. So come here and specify raw 6, I think, yes, and it should be the password txt. Now let's first check what's the output of this. Okay, retrieve for edit, this function should be called when I click on the edit button. So retrieve for edit and save, and let's go. So Bilal edit. Okay, uh, again there is a problem. The data is here but the role is not loaded and the table is repeated. That means that we have to remove that retrieve function that we have called directly somewhere inside the program. Where we have called the retrieve function, let us check here. Okay, so I don't want to call the retrieve function directly. Okay, save. Let's create a view button. So if is set, copy and paste, and here instead of this let's write view btn and call the function retrieve. So when somebody tries to click the view button, then the retrieve function should display. Let us check what's the output. View, the data is there. Okay, and when I click Bilal and edit, you see now the things are perfect, but there the roles are not coming. But I think today's lecture length is more than enough. I should stop at this point and then we'll continue in the later class. Alright guys, listen please. Here you see the connection is not coming from the getRoles.php. So let's go to the getRoles.php, and you see here I have already passed the connection. Okay, and when I call this getRoles function, there is a connection coming also. Okay, so this may be the problem. So what we can do, we can try to pass the connection as a parameter and see what will be the output. So let's remove this include here. It's a check for us. So connection, simple, and remove this. So whatever the connection is, I will pass on runtime with getRoles. Okay, so where I have called this getRoles function, let us go back and remove this line because we don't need it anymore. This div also is not required. Let's here, so include getRoles, and here I have to pass my connection. So let's include the connection file. Connection.php, and make that connection available here. So $con. So you see the connection is coming. Now save, and let's first check what's the output of this, and also let's copy this getRoles of connection and paste it here. So I have passed the connection again. You see the connection is coming also here. Now let's see the output. So the data is coming. That means that experiment is successful. And when I click on the view button, you see the data is also coming again, because I have changed the retrieval of the table. We'll arrange it, no problem. Bilal, and then edit. You see again when I click on the edit button, it is not getting the connection. Let us check why. Alright guys, let's remove this function then, because this function is not executing correctly. So let's go downwards and come in between these dots. Okay, here I have to write that same getRoles query. So if I copy this whole code again and run that also, so let's try to do this here. Okay, so query, getRoles, connection, execution, the select list, and here we can add session as well. So let's try to, okay, the error is coming because we haven't create a function, but the things are the same. Okay, let's remove this and copy this function and paste it below, and let's do the changes here. getRoles 2. Okay, and here I have to write an if condition. If, let's start a session at this point, but I think session was already started. So if $_session is equals to user ID is equals to $raw, but I need the role ID, not the session ID. Sorry guys, this is not the thing. Alright guys, so the problem is with this connection now. So what we can do, we can create a new connection because this connection is already being utilized. So let's add a new connection with con2 and copy the connection from the connection line, that is this one, and paste it here. Simple. So I have created an other connection and I am passing here as con2. Now the next step is because I have concatenated here, so instead of concatenation I am closing this echo at this point and I am closing this line, because you see this is one echo and after echo I have called this get roles and this concatenation should be removed and this TD is with the echo. Simple. So I have breaked the things. Okay. Now let us see what's the output. I have changed the connection only and the function is the same, get roles. Okay, and I have passed as a parameter. So Chrome, and you see when I click on the view button, things are coming, selection of the data and then edit. So you see now we can be able to select what we wanted to select. Okay, now the next step is to update the record, and for that purpose let's come inside this and write here another condition, that is copy. I have specified else if because at a time somebody tries to click the view button or the edit button or the update button or the delete button. So let's write here the update btn and the delete btn, paste, and here we should write delete btn. For update, of course we need to call the ID, so let's copy this code and come here, or you can copy this whole, copy and paste it below. So when somebody tries to click on the update button, we will check whether the ID is clicked or not. If the ID is clicked, we don't need to create session now, okay, because we have ID and we don't need to make the edit again. Okay, so let's remove this. When somebody tries to click the update button, and when somebody directly clicked on the update button, this message will be displayed, please select any user first, and let's add text center also, text center, save. Here let's take the ID in a variable, that is user ID $_post, and the name should be ID RB, and here the next step is to write the update query, okay, for updating the users. So $query is equals to, now do we have the update procedure? Let us check. Come here, go to your procedures and see update roles we have, but update users are not there. So we have to create a query for update users. Let's create that. Delimiter / delimiter and semicolon. Come inside, create procedure st_ update users. Now what I wanted to update, I wanted to update the name. The name should be variable character 30. Then email, anything can be updated. Okay, so email varchar 40, and please do match the data types because I don't have time enough to verify everything. You can match the data type from the column names. Okay, then name email, then phone varchar 15, and then we have the other things like role ID. Okay, so it was role ID and integer, and then the username, so un varchar 30, and then password, that should be varchar 30. Okay, so that was my parameter. These are my parameters. Now begin and end, and come inside and write update query, update users, set u underscore name. Let me open the columns. So you see u underscore name, then u underscore password. Let me zoom it out. Now that's fine. Okay, and scroll it. Now you see the column names from the left. So u underscore name equals to name, and then u underscore email is equals to email, and u underscore phone is equals to phone, u underscore role ID is equals to role ID, that's my parameter. Then u underscore username is equals to un, then u underscore password is equals to password. Okay, PASS, where one thing that we have to pass still is the ID, so ID is equals to integer. Okay, now where u underscore ID is equals to ID that I will pass to update the user, and then semicolon. So that's my stored procedure. Let's zoom out it to 100%. Now copy this and execute. It's saying that there is an error of the delimiter. Let us check delimiter and delimiter, that's fine. Create procedure. Okay, so the error was because the stored procedure already exists. Once I have clicked that, this is an issue in PHP my admin. Sometimes it shows errors, but it created the stored procedure, and you see here my st underscore update users is successfully created. When I click on the edit button, you see all the parameters are there and the query is the same. I haven't changed anything. Now let's call this a stored procedure. So copy, come inside and paste, and here I have to pass the data. But again, I'll let you know that I have already created a function for inserting, updation and deletion. Okay, so instead of calling this thing here, what we can do, we can simply call the function, but before calling the function we should include the CRUD.php file. Okay, and then let's write here insert underscore update underscore delete, that's my function, and it's asked me for the procedure. So that's my procedure, sd underscore update users, and then we have to pass here the array where I'll give the values. Okay, so let me write here $arr equals to array, and respectively pass your values. So what's the first value I wanted to pass is the name, email, phone. So let's write here okay, you can use the validation also that we have done previously. So let's pick up from the insert part, but we haven't done insertion yet. Okay, so let's go back and write here name equals to we have to add another thing, that is validate. So include validate.php in order to validate the inputs. So validate of $underscore post, and then the text box name was name txt. Okay, and semicolon. So copy this line. After name we have email, then phone, then role ID, then username, then password. Okay, so name, then email, then phone, then role drop down. Let us verify that we have roles or role drop down. So when we are here, we are creating get roles, and you see here I have given here role drop down. Okay, so role drop down, so let's write here roles drop down, then username and password. So for username we have to check what's there, username txt, come back and paste it here, and the password txt. So where is that password? Let me get it, where it is, update, edit, pass txt. Okay, this one, paste it here and save. Now change the variable names. Name, after name we have email, phone, role id, okay, and the username and the password, and we have already taken the id. No, we haven't taken the id, so let's create a variable and $_post, and the id is in idrb semicolon. And now let's pass the values. So first of all, okay, id I have taken already, user id, so no need to use this. Now first of all, let's add $name, then $email, then $phone, then $role id, then $username, then $password. Okay, so everything is passed. Now the last thing is $id, user id, okay, where I wanted to update. That's my array. Now I'll pass my array here, arr, and the message user updated successfully. Okay, and because this function is returning something, so let me write here $. Please see the previous lectures if you don't know this function. In the beginning of the series I have done this, so you see that. So msg, let's create a message, and then write here echo, and copy the same line, this one, and paste, but instead of danger, alert, info, and text center, and instead of this message I'll display my $msg, so my message should be displayed. Okay, and when the update will successfully happen, then we'll retrieve the data again. Okay, so let's go back and see what's the output. Okay, so first of all, let's view and Bilal, edit. So let's add Bilal 12, edit everything, and Bilal 12, and phone number should be 000. The role is manager, let's say, username is bb, and the password is 12345. Okay, we have to make sure that this password should not be the text box, it should be the password box. Okay, so these are the validations that we have to apply as well. So update. So you see that error occurred while performing the action because of the phone txt. Let us verify what is the name of our text box, that is phone. So password, we have email txt, where is the phone, input type equal to text, value this, email, then text, value. Okay, you see here email I have repeated twice. This should be the phone txt. That was the mistake. Let's verify. I think it should work now. So view, you see by default the role is admin. Let's edit Bilal and select the role to clerk, let's say, and 12 and 12 12 12 and 12, and update. So still it is saying that error occurred. Maybe there is a problem inside the query. Alright guys, so the problem is these round brackets, because I don't want these round brackets, because inside my CRUD.php I have already specified these round brackets dynamically on runtime. Okay, so that was the problem. Hopefully you have understood. Now let's try to execute this again. View and Bilal, let's click this one, last one, and edit. Instead of this AAA, let's write BB, and here I have to add @gmail.com because it's email, and phone 12, and sorry, phone should be 123, and role should be manager, it should be BB, and password is any, and update. So you see user updated successfully. Okay, and I have echoed for verification, that was the same. So guys, similarly the code that I have written here is for updation. You can use the same code for insertion as well. Okay, let me show you that, the last thing of this lecture. So else if, and here we can copy this line and paste it, and instead of this let's write here save btn. Okay, why the error is coming? Okay, so bracket should be closed. Now here what we can do, we can simply call this all again, same code for insertion, and paste. Make sure the names of the text boxes that you have specified in the form that you have first created, let me show you that. This is the form that you have first created, this one. So make sure that these names are there when you are inserting. Okay, so that's my insert. When somebody tries to click on the save button, everything will be and remove this echo line. The data is passed, and instead of this update users, what we have to select, we have to come here and go to the procedures and select the insert user stored procedure. So let me show you the insert user procedure. This is the stored procedure for insert, and these are the parameters along with the data types. So you see this. Now let's copy and paste. That's it. And instead of updation, let's write here user added successfully. I hope it is clear to everyone, guys. Okay, so again error is there, one error. Okay, so the error is because of this line, this code, because we are inserting the very first record, so we don't need anything to be selected first and all that. So let's remove this code. Now that's fine. So after insertion, the data will be retrieved. Let's try and check the final thing. Hassan @abc.com, phone number, role admin, username Hassan, and phone number 1234 whatever. Okay, that is the problem. That's the password. That's the typing mistake. Let's click save. You see incorrect number of arguments, expected 6 but got 7. Okay, because I have copied and pasted the code, so remove this user ID because I don't want to pass the user ID, and here user ID should also not there. Okay, now save and check it again. So quickly do this, and sorry, and save. So you see record added successfully, and it is there at the end. Okay, but username is not coming, but we'll try, we'll sort it out, but I hope you can do this by yourself also, why this username is not coming. So that's all for today, guys. Hope you have learned how to do these CRUD operations in a procedural PHP, in core PHP directly, but there are more far advanced methods that are already available for you guys. But if you don't know these things, then you cannot be able to switch directly to those advanced methods. Okay, so do keep practice these things, otherwise you will never get to learn how to do things. So thank you so much, take care, Allah Hafiz.